Started. So we'll go through the second half of command. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to, interrupt me. And I'm just moving that out of the way. So I'm going to start in opportunities just because this is a pretty lengthy one, but it is important because your compliance and how you get paid is run through opportunities. Are you guys looking at my command and not my email? Correct?
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure because I have two screens. So I'm in opportunities, which is a little handshake. So when your client is ready to sign the buyer or listing agreement with you, so even way before you're listing or looking for houses for them, you want to start your opportunities just so things are completed in steps, and then also gives our compliance review a chance to make sure everything is compliant before you are closing. So first thing before you create an opportunity, you need to make sure that that client is in your contacts, just because it'll connect to them. And if they're not in there, it won't. So when you look at the opportunity tab up here, you will see what's called a pipeline. So you have a listing, a buyer, and a lease pipeline. You scroll down, it'll give you ratios of what you have. So I have 61% of my opportunities are listings, 38 are buyers, 1% is leases. And then down at the bottom, it'll show your closings for the month. This little activity tracker lets you know how many opportunities you created each month. And this kind of gives you a vision of where your high and low months are for the year. So that way for next year, you can plan on how you're going to adjust those months that are lower, or what you did each month that was high to keep it consistent. So then over here on the right is your GCI, or gross commission income. So this is what income you would make before your splits with the market center, or if you're on a team. And it kind of gives you a probability calculator. So this is your potential income, and this is your probable income. And there's like an algorithm, and what is that? What do I want to say? Like a math equation that it does based on what phase it's in. So obviously the further along the pipeline, the better your probable amount is going to be. So I have 24 opportunities in Cultivate and only have 1 in closed and 4 in under contract, 10 active, 13 appointment. So that is why my gaps are so big. So my potential income, so how it does that is it takes the list price and or the sale price, and it takes 3% of that sale price, or whatever percentage that you have set in of what your commission is going to be. So my potential income for my listings is $213,000, $213,601. My probable income is only $85,500 because the majority of my opportunities are on this side of the pipeline and not this side of the pipeline. So same goes down for my buyers. The gap is not, it's $1 million different. But I have a decent amount in my active and under contract, and not quite as many on the cultivate and appointment side as I do for my listings. So that's kind of how that is figured up. I like this as kind of an accountability, because it's telling you like you're leaving all this money on the table. For your buyers, you're leaving $1 million on the table for somebody else to take if you're not, my brain is broken. If you're not converting those leads or those clients to go into contract or to look for buyer or homes or sell their home. So it's just a nice little tool to have, just to kind of keep you on track. So when you're ready to create an opportunity, you're just going to click on the create opportunity button. Anything that has a red asterisk next to it is required. So some things will auto-populate, like the brokerage and your name. Opportunity type, is it a listing, buyer, landlord, or tenant? Make sure you're paying attention to which one you put in, because once you create the opportunity, you cannot change this. So if you have a listing and your sellers are also buying, you would create 2 opportunities, one for the sell and then one for the buy. So then I'm going to type in my client's name, and then it should pop up because he's in my contacts. And then if you have a co-seller or a co-buyer, you would put their name in there too. We'll say Donald Duck is selling as well. Opportunity name. If it is a listing, we want you to put the address in here. Purpose for that is just to make it easier to find on the market center side. If we receive like earnest money or a commission check, a lot of the time the agent's name is not on it. Occasionally there will be the seller or the client's names on it, or the property address. Those are always on those. But if your client's name is Tommy and his legal name is Thomas, a lot of times it can be hard to connect the 2. Names obviously aren't impossible, but if you have that address on there, it just makes it that much easier for us to find it. Down here, custom tags, up to you if you want to use those. Same as, they're very similar to the tags as in your contacts. It's just how you can group and really focus on where those opportunities are coming from. Estimated close date is not required, but you can put one in. Estimated list price, again, not required, but you can put one in. Commission rate. This is just your commission rate. That's not, even if you're the listing agent, it's not the total commission. You're not accommodating for the buyer's percentage. It's just your percentage. Then you're going to choose the opportunity phase. So there's cultivate. Cultivate to me is you've not had a serious conversation about buying or selling with them. Maybe it was like mentioned in passing at the store or at a friend's barbecue, like nothing really serious that you've sat down in a closer, intimate setting and really have had a serious discussion. Then you have appointment, which to me is that serious discussion. You've, kind of mapped out what the process is. You've had them sign their listing agreement or their buyer agreement, those kind of things. And then active is if you're actively looking, actively buying or selling with them. So depending on what phase you feel like is appropriate, you choose. There are stages, not as important as the phase, but up to you if you want to put that detailing in. Are you scheduling it? Have you scheduled it? Have you already had the appointment? So we'll say it's scheduled, and I'm going to click create. First place it's going to take you is the details tab. So from here, you're going to want to go to the property box, and there's this little pencil on the far right. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to type in the address. I'm just going to pick a random one. It will start to populate. You just click on it and then hit save, and then there's that address. If there's any extra information you want to add here, you can. Most of the stuff is in that option when you first create it, but there is other things you can add. Next thing I'm going to do is go to the Documents tab right here in the middle. I'm going to pick my checklist type. Most of the time it's going to be residential, but there are commercial, land, referrals, and then new builds. So I'm just going to choose residential. Once you've chosen your checklist, this is your compliance checklist that you have to submit to the market center. So anything that is required, meaning you have to have it in order to get paid, is in red under required, and they are at the top. And then there are conditionally required forms. And if you hover over the I, it's going to tell you why it's conditionally required. So if for the office exclusive waiver, if you are going to list the property within the brokerage, that's the Airtable, before it goes live on the MLS, you have to complete this form. So it says must be signed by broker and emailed to MLS corrections, required if not in MLS and list date is more than 48 hours from the date of listing agreement. So So say they don't want to list their house until April because they need to, you know, do some updates, blah, blah, blah. So, but you are going to go ahead and put it on the Airtable for the market center. You're going to have them sign this form and then you would upload it in here. So these conditional ones aren't always required, but some of them, depending on the issue or depending on the situation, they are required. So if you're on a team disclosure is required. If you're not on a team, it's not required. So this will give you your compliance list. So there are 3 lists of compliance. So this is why it's important that you do it in stages and not after you close. It'll make you look better. It keeps you out of real estate jail or from getting in trouble with compliance or the board or division. So on the buyer side, there's only 2. It's under contract and closed. On the list side, there are 3. So just so you know that there are 3 times that you will have to at least that you would have to submit documents. So once you have your checklist picked, you're going to click Start a Transaction over here on the right. This is how it's going to take you to DocuSign. This is where you're going to access your forms, fill them out, and send them to your clients. It will load eventually. Okay, there it goes. So you'll log in, and if you're not sure what your DocuSign user and email is, it should be your KW email, but that email from Scott Leroy Marketing should have that information on it. Come on, computer. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. All right. So now once you've clicked Start a Transaction, you've logged into DocuSign, it has automatically created a room for me. So this room is specific to this client and this opportunity. If you notice, the name of the opportunity is also the name of the room. And these documents automatically populate in the room. So if for a buyer side, there are specific docs that automatically populate as well. So first thing I'm going to do is go into the Details tab of the DocuSign room. And I'm going to fill in any extra information I can. What that does is any information that's in the details automatically fills in any space that is necessary in the documents. So this will just save me from having to fill in information later. So I'm going to click on the Edit button and just go through and kind of see any information that I need to add. We'll say residential detached, your bill. I'm making this stuff up because I don't know. List date, we'll say was yesterday. Listing amount, we'll say 200, is that 200? Yeah, 250,000. Any other information that would be helpful, not all of this. So everything in the middle is for the property or the transaction. Everything on the right is all of the people. So my seller, one, his name, his email, that's all you really need. If you want to put their phone numbers in here, all that stuff should pull from command if it's in their contacts as well. So you can put that in there. There's my seller too. Listing agent should be you, or if you're the buyer's agent, buyer agent 1 will have all your information. I don't have a listing or second listing agent, buyer 1. If you want to put the buyer's information in here, you can. I wouldn't spend a ton of time filling this out for pure fact of you do not get paid to do the work of the other side agent. So filling all that information out and I don't want to say wasting your time, but taking up your time to do things that they should be doing, don't do it. So once you have everything in there that you want, putting a name in makes perfect sense. Putting all of their contact information and all of that does not make sense. So I put everything in there. Now I'm going to go to the Documents tab. And then I'm going to click on each form, and this is where you pre-fill the forms. So this is where you fill out any information that you, the agent, can fill out. So exclusive right commencing on, and you would just, type in whatever makes sense. Active MLS was 31. Going through 3%, and I'm just making this up. I have no clue what I'm even doing. So you're just filling out what you need to. So there it is. And then you can fill in, say there was a second agent on here. You do, so like if it's a team and they're a co-seller or anything like that, you can, it's up to you what's in there. So once you edit your forms, you do save and close. And then once you've pre-filled all your forms, I think consumer guide's the only other one I need to, I'm not going to attach the RPD just because there's like 5,000 things they need to fill out and it takes forever. So we're just going to skip that one. But, for some reason, the names do not populate in this field, and I don't know why. I think the intent is to have the client fill it out, but it's just their name. You're not signing it for them. So I always just go in and fill them out. So once you have your forms all pre-filled, you can either come up here and click select all under the add button if you're choosing all of them. Or if you're just choosing a couple, you can click their check boxes in the top left corner. And then when you do that, there is this taskbar that pops up. You are going to click on the pen icon, which will create your envelope. So think of it as you're stuffing your envelope to send to your client if you want it to be like physical, or if you're more of a visual person on process. This is kind of where it's going. Envelope details, what's the name of your envelope? It's not going to make or break anything. It's just for tracking purposes. You can click on the envelope and see what forms are in it. You can just do first document, whatever makes sense to you. Like I said, you don't really have to worry about it. It just has to have a name. So I'm going to review, make sure I have all my documents. If I missed one, you can click on Room Docs and it'll pull up what's in there. If you didn't mean to send one, you can click on the X and it'll delete it out of this envelope. It won't delete it out of the room. So once I reviewed my docs, they look good. I'm going to click add recipient and I'm going to choose pre-tagged roles. Now there are obviously 3 options there. Pre-tagged roles is the only one that's going to auto-populate all of the signatures, initial, and date boxes for you. Anything that they have to fill out or complete, it will be there automatically for them to complete. So it just makes life a lot easier. Do always use pre-tagged roles unless you're like adding something extra later. It just makes the most sense. So I'm going to choose seller 1, Tommy. I'm going to choose seller 2, Donald, and I'm going to click add selected. So now my people show up here. And by default, it'll say needs to sign. So you don't really have to do anything once you select your people. Down here, you can add a message to them if you want to when they send it in the email. I'm actually going to send this to my KW email so you guys can see it. So you know what it looks like from the consumer side, because I think that's important to know what your clients are seeing. So if they have questions or don't understand, they know, what it should look like. So I'm actually going to send this to myself as well. So I don't know if that's a real email. If they are, they get all kinds of crazy stuff. Back to the message. You can put a message in here. I would put like a deadline or stuff like that. You don't really have to explain how to complete this because, as you'll see in a minute, it is super easy to fill out. So up to you if you want to put a message in there. It can be something as cute as like, can't wait, so excited. Once you have this set up, you're just going to click next. And wait for DocuSign to load. And then, so this is where all the signature and date boxes pop up. And then you will want to scroll through One, you're going to proofread everything you filled in, make sure it's correct and that you didn't miss anything. If you did, you would just click back, save and close and go back and edit those, and then it would automatically update. But you are going to go through and make sure all the signature and date boxes are there. I say this because this is technology. It's not perfect. Things happen. I'd rather you just double check and not really need to double check just to be safe than send it and something be wrong and then you have to send it again. So your ultimate goal is customer experience. So spending a few extra minutes double checking is really going to save you in the long run. So if you notice, there are two different colors here. There is a purpose for that. So if you look up in the top left corner, my seller 1, who is Tommy Shelby, is yellow. My seller 2, who is Donald Duck, is blue. So this is where they're signing. That's how you know who is who. And then also, if you would ever need to add a signature, initial, or a date box to a form. So like if you're the seller, a lot of the times you're going to get the contract from another agent. You'll have to upload it into DocuSign and you'll have to add these signature boxes because they're not templated since it's coming from another agent. So you would click on the signature box and you would just put the line wherever you need to. You just always want to make sure you have the correct colors because it's going to tell you who is who. So you put them wherever you want. If you need to resize them, you can. And then you can also delete them. You can either click delete down here on the screen, or you can hit delete on your keyboard and it'll go away. Yeah. So then we'll go through, we'll double check, make sure, yep, everything's there. It's where it should be. And if you notice on here, it'll let you jump right to the forms that have the signature boxes on there if you want. Anti-fraud is only one page. Okay. Everything looks good. Something to note, I don't have the contract pulled up here, so I can't specifically show you, but there is spots on the contract that you will have to delete just because with the pre-tagged roles, it's going to fill in anywhere that they can sign, date, or initial. But in the contract, specifically in the finance department or part of the contract, it'll have like, are you cash or are you finance? Like, are you finance or are you like getting a lender? So obviously it's one or the other. So you will have to go in and delete those. So just make sure you're going through everything with a fine-tooth comb in this area. So everything looks good, ready to set. Then we're going to click send. And it's going to send to the clients instantly. Sorry, I'm texting Abby at the same time. Okay, so this is sent to my client. So now I'm going to pull up my email so you can see it from the consumer side. So I'm going to pull this over. So this is what it looks like. It'll say your name via short for DocuSign. This is please DocuSign. Rachel Vaughn sent you documents to review and sign. I'm going to click on it. And I have it twice because both of my sellers are under my voice or my email. So this is what they'll get. It's pretty straightforward. They can't really mess it up. They just click review documents. And it's contrasting bold colors, so it's really easy to focus. They're going to get this little pop up here and click continue. Then they click the start button and it's going to take them everywhere they need to sign. And I'm just clicking on it. It'll literally boom, boom, boom. Then they click finish either down here or up here. And that's it. So from here, they can download these forms or print them if they want. Otherwise, they're set. They just hit no thanks, you're finished, cool, close out of it, you're done. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to sign the other. Sometimes if they've never used DocuSign before, I will let you know it will have them do the signature piece. Let me see if I can make it pop up. Start. It doesn't. It may pop up like having them because there is a like a notice or an act that they sign with things around electronic signatures, it's supposed to protect you as the agent. And I'll show you the certification here in a minute. But it'll have them like, they have the option to draw their signature with the mouse if they don't like the digital one that's created for them. So they do have some options when creating them. But so now that once you create your envelope, it does take you to the envelopes tab and it's right there. Something cool, if you click on it, you can see when and what time they signed their documents. So if you have a couple, or if you have two people who are on the deed that are selling the house or buying it, this goes for either way. You can check in on it and see who's completed what. So I know Tommy had covered it, and if Donald had not signed it yet, it would say waiting for signature instead. So this is just a nice way to see who has done what. Because say you're getting close to the deadline, you've noticed it's not done yet, you can call Donald and be like, hey dude, we've got an hour before this needs to be submitted. Please get in there and sign it. And then they're done. So now I'm going back to the documents tab. I just want to kind of show you guys the differences of the documents. So you'll notice the amount of documents in my DocuSign room has doubled. You will always have an original form, which is the blue icon. You will have a signed version. You cannot edit the signed version. It's against the law. Don't do it. If for anything would need to change and you would need to have your client re-sign something, you would use this blue form. Then you'll also notice the certification. This is, again, your protection. This is your certificate of completion that gives you timestamps of when you sent it, when they viewed it, and when they signed it. So if someone would come back and say, for fraud protection, saying, I didn't sign this, I didn't do this, it gives them an IP address. It gives you the dates, specific times, and date stamps of when they did such things, when you sent it, when they viewed it, and when they signed it, down to the second. That, again, gives you that security. So this electronic signature disclosure, that's kind of what they're talking about. Mine didn't offer it because I had been in DocuSign before. So, and then again, it just kind of gives you all the timestamps and everything like that. So this is, you don't have to put this anywhere. This just stays in the room, but just so you understand what it is. So now that I have my signed documents, I'm going to go back into Command, and now I'm going to attach them to my opportunity so I can submit for compliance. So I'm choosing the folder of room docs, and I'm just going to attach maybe my documents, or refresh my screen. It might not recognize that there's documents in it yet. There we go. So I just clicked on the Dropbox, exclusive right. I didn't do this one, consumer guide. And if you notice, the documents go away in the dropdown once you attach them. That way you don't get confused and put any duplicates. We didn't do the RPD, but I'm just going to put the certificate in there for now. So once you have all your required documents attached, you're going to click Submit to MC. That will take them for review to do that. So you'll do that in this stage. So you should be putting the listed folder, submitting this within 3 days of actively listing the property on MLS. Once you go under contract, you should be submitting these documents within 3 days of going under contract. Same goes for the buyer. You'll just start in the under contract phase or folder and start submitting. Once you go under contract, you should be submitting your offer and commission. So once you've submitted those forms, you're in contract, you're going to click offers and commissions, add new offer, name it, whatever your heart desires. It's internal only, so it's not really going to affect anything. You're going to put the offer date, that's the contract date. Close date, that's your closing date, whatever it is. Parties, this is the buyer's information. You can free type it. You don't have to have, the only thing that's required is the name. Then we're going to do representation. Who is their agent? Terms. What was the cash amount? What was the finance amount? Everything from earnest money below is optional. So if it doesn't apply, you don't have to put anything in there, but you can fill it out if you want to. If there is information, even if that information does apply, it's not going to affect anything because this is for your commission. So up to you if you put that information in there. Sale price is required, thus you have to put this information in there. Agent analysis is the next one. You just put your opinion of the offer. This is really only beneficial on the listing side. And when you have multiple offers that you can kind of show a side-by-side comparison to your client. Otherwise, if it's on, especially if it's on the buyer side, it's pointless because it's your offer. So just hit save. You can completely skip that on either side. You don't have to do that. It's optional. And it's slowly loading. Do. Come on. There it goes. So then I'm going to accept my offer. There it goes. Then I'm going to click Manage Commission. I need to confirm my contract date. So I'm going to edit general information. So what's the contract date? I'll say it was yesterday. Confirm the close date. This is where it matters. So make sure you confirm the close date. Save changes. Then you're going to go down to agent payment and you're going to review the details and make sure everything looks correct. You will have your split to the market center and your split to KW International until you cap. If you are on a team, you'll want to make sure that the team split is in here as well. And how you do that is you click add another agent. You're going to type in their name. I'm taking Taylor for you. Whatever their unit is, if it's 50-50, then you're going to do calculate commission, save changes. When you do that, you are going to have to go back into this first one and you're going to have to edit this because now it's going to be off balance. So I'm going to do that, save changes. So now half the unit, 7,500 goes to me, half the unit, 7,500 goes to Taylor. So I prefer to look at the summary up here at the top because it's a lot cleaner. It's a lot easier on the eyes for me. I'm a visual person, so this is a lot. So same exact information, just a lot cleaner. So the total commission was $15,000. I paid $4,650 to the office. $900 went to associate royalty, $3,750 went to company dollar. So the payout to the agents is $10,350. Mine's $4,800. His is $5,550. The reason that ours is not equal is probably because Taylor has paid into his cap or he is capped. No, he's not capped, but he is at a 20% split instead of a 30% split. Mine's set at 70-30, his is set at 80-20. So that's why he gets more money than I do. Even though that we are 50-50 in the unit or commission split, his market center split is more than mine, meaning, or less than mine, I should say, meaning he gets more of his money than I do. So that's why it looks different. But once you review this, everything looks good. You're going to hit submit, and that's going to go to the market center. So now, once you've submitted both folders for document for compliance, you've submitted the commissions, all you have to do is wait until it closes. Then you'll go to submit the close tab, submit to MC, and then you're done. It's a lot, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. So make sure you get in here and you practice this, and like you can create fake accounts. or like fake opportunities and fake rooms in DocuSign, just try not to submit them to the market center. Just don't hit submit to MC. But that'll help you go through the transaction so you understand what you're doing. Any questions on this one before I move on?
Nope, I'm good.
Good. I know it's a lot and you're like, oh my God, but again, the more you do it, the better it'll get. Alrighty. I'm trying to even remember what we didn't cover in the first one. So campaigns, this is your marketing piece. I apologize, Ajalis, if we already went through this. I can't remember. It was 2 weeks ago or it was last week and I can't even remember. So campaigns is the marketing piece of it. Designs, you create the marketing. Campaigns, you promote the marketing. So you have paid ads, which those are the ads that you see on Facebook. Those are the ads you didn't necessarily ask for, but they're there anyways, based on what you like, what you follow, what you do on Facebook. So this is one I created for a competition. I did like a client testimonial for Lisa and I posted it to generate leads for her. So potential new clients. So when I did this, it goes out on Facebook. And again, you can set up targeting. So like if certain people like certain things or follow certain things. Now it doesn't get super specific. Like you can't put like an Ohio State fan. They are generic things like it's the interests on Facebook. So like if accounting was on there or DIY or construction or, you know, whatever, you can do like realtor.com, Zillow, those type, Trulia, those type of real estate related stuff is on there. But you get the opportunity to kind of be a little bit of big brother in this scenario is what I like to say. Just like when those sponsored ads pop up on your news feed that you didn't necessarily click on or purchase from, like this remarkable thing. I've been looking at stuff like this on Amazon, so it pops up on my Facebook. That is essentially what these posts are doing. You can do it to generate buyers for your listing. You can do it to generate new leads as an agent. You can do it to generate new people for a client of like an event that you're having. So it's really whatever you want, you can put in there. There are Facebook rules and guidelines, and good old Mark Zuckerberg will deny it if it is not within their guidelines. So when you submit it, it cannot go live the same day. It has to go the next day. So this one was disapproved. I put the verbiage on my ad was make $100,000 selling real estate. And that is unclear, misleading, get rich quick, or deceptive employment opportunities, according to Facebook. So if you ever get it disapproved, it's probably something in the verbiage, or if the website that you link it to is not whatever they deem as safe or in their policy, they will reject it as well. So it should tell you when you hover over this, but sometimes it's not really clear what the issue is. So just to give a little breakdown of what you're seeing. So this ad for Lisa generated 569 impressions, which are views. 14 people clicked on it, and then she got 2 leads out of it. So for this one, the conversion cost is terrible, but I was just testing different things to see what would happen. I will show you quickly the productivity coaching program. We do these leads on listings within our brokerage, and this is to generate leads, and we usually get a good return on these. The positive on this is you can control how much you spend. So if you budget for $30, you're not going to spend more than $30 on an ad. And you can go anywhere from like, I don't think there's a minimum, but I wouldn't recommend lower than 20. And then you can go all the way up to however much money you want, hundreds of dollars. So like One's a really good one. So this one that I did in Hilliard, this is a listing we had in Hilliard. It generated 62 leads. So we were paying essentially 81 cents per lead. So it can be very fruitful. Now these leads are cold leads, which means the conversion rate of talking to them buying is not the quickest conversion. It usually takes about a year to convert cold leads. But as a newer agent, that gives you a database to connect with outside of just the people you know. So it can be beneficial for you. So other things that you can do within campaigns is the email blast. So you can do what I call pretty emails and send them out to your database. That's not what I wanted. Oh, well, I'm not gonna make you go through the craziness, but so there's templates in here that you can create from. There are templates that are already pre-made for you that you can just plug in and play. But you can send these with the videos, links, pictures, pretty fonts, pretty colors. All of those are options in these email campaigns. You have a direct mail option that is a postcard that is going to either your database or a specific neighborhood. So something cool, let me get in here. Something cool about the direct mail is not only do they print and ship them for you, like they'll mail them to everyone, you can, oh my goodness, it's gonna make me do all of this. What don't I have filled in? We'll do upload this. I don't have time for this. Oh, how many bedrooms? So if it's a listing, you would use the template. If it's just something else, you would upload a design. So save. What did I not do? I don't see what I'm missing. Okay, this is being a pain in the neck. I did that. I don't know. I guess this is not required. It shouldn't mess it up. Bedrooms, bathrooms. I'm just going to type it and make sure I'm doing everything. Agent photos optional. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. Work. Okay, I don't know why it's being mean to me. I'm just going to upload something random. And now it's not going to work. Of course. Anyway, when you go, you will configure targeting and it'll pull up a map. You can pinpoint a specific address and then send to a whole radius of houses around it. And you don't have to have all their contact information, like their address and stuff like that. Command will pull it for you. So the 4x6, I think they're like 64 cents a piece. So if you think about it, postage alone is 53 cents. So it's pretty cheap. They will print the postcard and then they mail it out for you. And then it has all your information on it and stuff like that. So that's a good touch to your database, or if you're farming a neighborhood, it's a good service to use and it's decently priced. And then once you get to the end steps of ordering, it will ask for your card information. That's how you pay it. Last one here is social posting. So you can schedule your social media posts through here. They do have currently Facebook and Twitter. They're working to integrate Instagram on here. So to be able to do all three is going to be awesome, and not have to pay for a service to schedule posts to Instagram is also awesome. So what you do, you just click on the day that you want to, you'll add your information. My account is not correct. correctly connected. So that's why it pops up. And then you can schedule what day and time you want it to post, or you can post it immediately. You can choose whatever pages that you're associated with. So if you have multiple, you can put multiple on there. There's also these little quick posts. These are pre-made posts for you. It's got the picture, it's got the content. Being a pain in the neck. So this is what it looks like, and you don't have to do anything. You can just schedule to post it. Any other questions on that?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, Dallas, do you remember of anything we didn't cover? I'm trying to think.
Don't.
Okay. The only last thing I can think of is the consumer website and app stuff. Some of the settings are in here, which I may have gotten with you, Dallas, but I know I didn't with you, Alexandra. So I want to show you quickly before we hop off. So when you go in here, you can see your KW website. So if you click on the link, it'll pop up. And then there are some things that you can edit on the website, like the pictures in the background, what this says, your drop-down options. You can add more pages, and then just your information. They're pretty basic websites, I'm not going to lie, but it usually conveys the information that you need, and it accomplishes for what a website needs to do. But you can, so this guide builder up here is the guide builder that's in your app, your consumer app. So this is where you can edit those stages. You can rearrange them. You can edit the photo. You can edit the text. So this is kind of like a guide to help your buyer or seller through the process, just a generic thing of what they should be doing. So they can access that on your website if they create an account, or on your consumer app if they create an account. But there is a generic one in there by default. The other option is site and app settings in this one. So this is where you can do some of that editing for your website. So if you want to change what the text says above the search bar, the photos, you can have 5 photos, and then you can delete any of the stock ones. This one is of Columbus that I added. Same thing. If you have virtual tours, you can add them, stuff like that. Your URLs, your website, and your app URL are here. If you want to feature any of your listings, you can. You can only feature other listings that are not yours if you have permission from that listing agent. So make sure that you get it, I would say, in writing, email or text, something that's proof that says that you can market somebody else's listing. There's themes. You can do dark or red. It's just verbiage, lines, that kind of stuff. Pretty simple. And then this is where you can rearrange your menu. So if you want your about me at the top, if you want your this at the bottom, and then if you click on each one, you can put in your SEO description. SEO stands for search engine optimization. And what that is for is when you go to Google and search a word based on what you've searched and what's in the SEO description of that website is what's going to populate. So nobody can see this SEO description, so feel free to put whatever you want in there. I get a little shady with this, and I'll tell people to put like Remax and Coldwell Banker and Red One and anything like that, just in Keller Williams, just in case somebody Googles anything, your website's more likely to pop up. It's all about getting the client. So, but if it's, a mortgage calculator, I would type in mortgage. I would type in money for house, like anything you can think of to put in that description. The more you have, the better and more likely your website is going to be higher up on the list of websites that pop up in the search engines. And you want that so that people find your website when they're searching. So that's the purpose of that. But So that is command in a nutshell. It's a lot. You don't need all of this right away. But I like to let you know everything that's there. And then later on, as you get your feet wet and get really moving, if there's anything you want to connect on again and really dive deeper into, let me know. I'd be happy to help.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything I can answer for you guys right now?
I'm good.
Okay.